Live in the Trustmark Studios is the one and only Nina Parikh, well, from her own studio this morning. Good morning to you, ma'am. How are you? It's good to have you.
Good morning. How are you?
Man, I'm doing okay. Listen, there are so many things going on. I guess I want to ask you your feelings about the Bruce Willis news. Did you have a chance to meet him while he was here, by the way, and your feelings on the news that came out on him?
I did not meet Bruce Willis while he was here. I'm glad that his family made a good decision for him. You know, he was only here in Mississippi for 2 days, so it was limited time that he was here. So I was not aware of what his health was at the time, but it seems like it was a good decision. Based on where he's at health-wise, and I'm sorry that has been the case. That's a complex situation. You know, somebody that's had such a huge, great career. I imagine that for him, it was a hard thing to let go of, and I don't know. None of us know the details, the intimate details of that. Well, you know, whether it was his choice or his family's choice to continue working or not. But it seems like the right choice currently.
Let me just say this: when you go back and you watch that now, and I think we'll watch that with a different viewpoint, how much he struggled to remain some sort of normalcy through that, even to the point not only did we not know it. I mean, there was a story in last week's Stack where, you know, they gave him a Razzies award for some of the latter films.
The Razzie that you speak of was not only, it was the worst performance by Bruce Willis in a Bruce Willis movie.
Yep. Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Yeah, and then they rescinded that once they found out he had this disease. So they went back on that, which was good, and that's the right thing to do. All right, a lot of things going on in the state. Let's do a little catalog here.
Before we talk about movies, we got to talk about the Grammys last night. Two wins for Mississippi. Cedric Burnside and Kingfish.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We played Kingfish, and I was looking for some Cedric. I'm going to have to pull that out of the stack for tomorrow. But congratulations to those guys, man. That was pretty darn good.
Right.
So,
right.
What were the awards? It was just for blues, or was it a particular song, or what was the category?
To ask me that. I'm not actually sure. I just know that
it doesn't really matter.
They won. They won.
Yeah, they won. They won, and that's what matters. So we'll leave it at that. Let's go back to the and one more thing too. And I mentioned this morning. In that magazine award, we just talked about this a little earlier, 2 of the top 10 museums now are music museums in the state of Mississippi, with B.B. King and the Grammy, of course, in Cleveland, Mississippi, 2 of the top 10 museums in the nation. And that's a feather in our cap right there. So
absolutely.
Give me a little bit of overview of what the business is in the state of Mississippi. And this is Nina Parikh, and Nina is the director of the Mississippi Film Office. Nina, give us a little bit of a scan of what's going on.
Woo, we've been busy. Nonstop movies all over the state. Let me just think about what's in production right now. We have a movie called The Workshop that's in production on the Gulf Coast. The Gulf Coast seems to be consistently busy, and so we're super excited about that. Bill Webb is our project manager down there, and he does quite the job at connecting the dots down there, and super appreciative of all he does. But because he's there, we're able to keep it busy. He's able to focus on productions down there. So The Workshop is a lower budgeted film. But, you know, every budget's important to us, whether it's a $500,000 movie or a $30 million movie. They all bring revenue to the state, create jobs, and keep our communities thriving in a variety of ways. Hometown, of course, I know I always mention it, I can't help but mention it, but it's still in production, and I just binged the first portion of season 6. They're still filming season 6, but they have been airing the early season 6 episodes since, I believe, January, maybe late December. And I think they get better and better every season. It's just remarkable.
They do. It is every once in a while. You know who I pat on the back is the producers who saw that in its raw form and said, this might make a great show. Those people are tremendously talented to see that talent And it's just it's very comfortable. I'm not sure how many more houses they can find in Laurel, but it is, and I enjoy watching it, and it really has helped because we got people from across the globe now who seem to be looking at it and said, I'd like to retire there. When I could see a home that would cost me close to $900,000 in California, New York, and I see it for $145,000, put a couple of $100,000 in that, it's got to impress a lot of people, and I think they're getting a different view of Mississippi too.
I think so too. And when I was thinking about, as I was binging it this past weekend, other home shows go all over the place, so they're not really in one particular town. It's other than Waco, I guess, Fixer Upper, which isn't what it used to be. It's not Fixer Upper anymore, but there's so few shows that just focus on a town, and they're not just focused on a town. They're focused on Mississippi. It's artists. I see Ellen Langford pieces, the artist from here in Jackson, like in every episode, and they go to see different artisans and craftsmen around the state and focus on their work and showcase it. And how incredible for our talented artists and craftsmen. I imagine that they are seeing sales from all over the country, maybe world now.
Yeah. It is so refreshing because as a native-born Mississippian, when you see every day the negative publicity we have when we get something like this, it's just invaluable. It kind of motivates us, and people need that. I don't care if you're a kid or an adult, you need to say that you need to see your state in a good light. Sometimes we don't see that, but I think the show it's invaluable, and I hope it stays on for a long, long time.
Absolutely. And it really reflects the values of Mississippians, that all people count, that we are communities that are tight-knit. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful show and really showcases who we are, the complexity of who we are.
Yes. And that complexity is played out in that. And I love this because I would like to be the fly on the wall from somebody sitting in a small apartment in New York saying, well, did you see that? I love the show, but same-sex couples, and that's in Mississippi, and they seem to be welcomed and be part of the community, or mixed marriage, and it doesn't. That's not what I heard about Mississippi. So it is good to see that, and it's tremendously refreshing. All right, there was one in Canton, and as far as the movie, where is that one now?
So that one, I assume you're talking about The Minute You Wake Up Dead, and that was starring Cole Hauser from Yellowstone and Morgan Freeman, and some other names. That one is finished production already, so they will be in post-production. I don't know what their timeline is in terms of what the release would be. I assume it'll be sometime next year. But that producer, that was his first movie here. He followed that up with a lower budgeted film very quickly on the heels of that one, and shot that in Canton too, and has plans on coming back for another. That's something that's been happening recently with producers. They come here, they see that we have a great rebate program, that the communities are really supportive, and the crew that they hire here are talented and skilled, and they decide that they want to come back for another one and another one and another one. So we have a handful of producers now that have come back with half a dozen films, plan to do more. So that really speaks volumes for what we're able to accomplish here through the film industry, and maybe create something that's sustainable for decades to come. I hope that's where we're going with this.
Me too. Director of Mississippi Film Office, it's Nina Parikh. Nina, and this is the political side of this too, but is anything in the legislature that went on as far as bills that will affect the industry in the state?
I'm not aware of anything this legislative session. I think that we're just going to hold steady and continue to utilize our rebate program. This is the second fiscal year. So our fiscal year runs from July 1 to June 30th. This will be our second fiscal year in a row to max out our $20 million cap. So, we're just going to keep on going. And hopefully we'll see another year of success. And through that, we will continue to build our crew base, build our infrastructure, and we'll be even stronger to continue to lure productions here and to nurture the local ones.
You got it. Always good talking to you. By the way, I did my bit on that last movie in Canton. So I think I'll get a credit coming up there real quick.
Oh, good.
It'll be like, oops, there's. Now, Nina, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you later.
I can't wait to see your name in lights, Paul.
Well, it'll be dim, but it'll be there. Nina Parikh, Director, Mississippi Film